Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the first dialogue of Check on Our Babies. This is going to be a 4 month dialogue where we really dive deep in and talk about this topic about our children and our babies. This has been burning inside of me for the last few weeks, and it says in my spirit that it really needs to be addressed. It needs to be talked about. It needs to be verbalized. So for the next 14 weeks on One Time Ministries platform at 1 p.m., we'll be talking about, ladies and gentlemen, about our babies, our children. They matter. All right. So the topic that we're going to focus on IG, Facebook, and YouTube, we're going to talk about adolescents' health. Okay. And why is it so important to know how their health is? Because a lot of times our children say they're all right, but in true reality, they are not. Okay? Keep in mind, everybody, I am a certified youth mental health first aid. And I was certified as of October of last year. So I can sit down and talk to you, the young, about mental health as well as substance use challenges. So I can have those conversations with them and lead them in the right direction where they go and get the help and get the support. So I am certified. Again, I am a certified youth mental health first aider. For 3 years now, I'm certified for this position to sit with the youth and talk to them and encourage them and help them to get the right resources as well as the right processes in which way they should go. I can show you my credentials. I took the course last year. And why am I mentioning this? Because most of you think it was will sit here and look at me like, why should I listen to you about you? Because I am certified to talk about these topics. All right. So let's get to it. Adolescent health. All right. So I'm going to read this passage here, everybody. Adolescence is an important time for promoting health and preventing diseases, one that is sometimes overlooked. Most of the national 42 million adolescents who are between the ages of 18 and 19 are generally healthy. In recent years, the United States has seen a decline in sexual risk behavior, teen birth and smoking, and use of some substance, as well as higher academic achievement for younger adolescents. However, all adolescents can benefit from guidance, on how to improve their health development during these years, and for some serious challenges remained. Okay. Adolescent health encompasses changing tradition within multiple domains, including the physical, social, emotional, and cognitive intelligence. The fast-paced development of these different domains can lead to phenomenal growth during this period. This growth can also occur at different rates, which can put adolescents at a higher risk of risk-taking behavior and emerge in mental health issues. It is important to understand the adolescent's development, environment influencement, and risk and protective facts that can affect adolescent health. So the organizations and individuals who work with your youth can support the health and healthy development of adolescents. All right. So this is very important for us to understand, everybody, with adolescents and the things that are very important. So you want to pay attention to the warning signs, everyone. You want to pay attention to the behavior. You want to pay attention to their body language. You want to pay attention to the friends they hang out with, their social media platforms, the things that they're sharing on their social media platforms, the music that they're listening to, the conversation that they're having. What are some of the trigger points that's causing and leading down that area? Start consulting with counselors at your child's school, because I know in Palm Beach County schools they do offer counseling. So you have to go through your child's guidance counselor in high school. Check with middle school, elementary, and see how the protocols go with that, and see if they can get further assistance. And most say I have to go outside of my jurisdiction to get the help and assistance for my child. There's always virtual counseling. And why am I mentioning this? Because a lot of people say, I don't want to do counseling. No, let me explain to you how the process of counseling goes, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Counseling is where you sit with the individual that you're comfortable to, and you're sharing with them the ability to move forward, to go forward, and creating a plan. And that plan is to help them to maneuver things that need to be maneuvered. And that will show you the areas that your child is dealing with. So it may be academic that may be dealing with. It may be mental issues in terms of social anxiety, or what else? Antisocial, or dealing with severe depression and ADHD and ADD and all of these different factors. Why is this so important to pay attention to these different factors? Because children and youth have trigger points, and those trigger points are sensibly by how you talk to them or how you interact with them. Certain things will make them feel a certain kind of way that'll cause them to kind of be withdrawn, kind of be lashing out, kind of crying out for help, kind of doing things that they normally don't do. You have to understand that. And this is why it's so important to learn these different techniques and routines to kind of help your youth get back on track. This is why I recommend counseling. This is why I recommend speaking to the guidance counselor. Us as parents and guardians can only do so much. And on our end, we have to seek further assistance on that matter. And why is this so important? Because youths are following certain things on TikTok and certain things on Instagram, or certain things with their peers. And peer pressure is real, everybody. Peer pressure is real. And how is that so? Because what their friends are doing, they're doing. You're yelling and screaming and not really understanding why the child's doing what they're doing. Because so many kids are trying to fit in, but they can't fit in because they're different. They can't fit in because they're not liked or appreciated. They can't fit in because people are bullying them. This is some real life stuff that we're dealing with here, ladies and gentlemen. They're being picked on. They're being talked about. They're being scrutinized by how they look and dress and feel and present themselves. Some may have a learning impairment. Don't judge a book by its cover until you get to know an individual, ladies and gentlemen. Do not. Because at the same time, not only would that child's mental health rise even higher, that caused the depression and anxiety and the suicide rate to skyrocket, because they're thinking all kind of crazy things going through their mind in terms of, how can I end my life? What can I do to end my life? What can I put in my system to take away the pain? Drugs, sex, alcohol, doing stuff to suppress the pain. And a lot of times those things are not fulfilling because they have a hole in their heart. They have a deepness. They have a dark spot that causes them to not really grasp the things that they are set out to reach for. There's so many kids who have been put in certain situations that have really traumatized them. And they have to reset their mind, ladies and gentlemen, to a place, not only a place of getting through the trauma, getting through the pain, getting through the heartache. This is where the healing begins. This is where the process of going through counseling and going through step-by-step processes to help them. And you're like, Minister Johnson, what does that have to do with my child? This is why us as parents, guardians, we have to have a conversation with our kids. If a child starts yelling and screaming, there's a red flag, there's something going on. Because if they're cussing you out and talking back to you or speaking you to a term, there's something really going on rooted deep inside of them that you as a parent really have to find out. Yes, they're going to rebel. Yes, they're going to say this and that and the third, because there's something going on in their mind that's causing them to have these lapses. It's causing them to have this anger. It's causing them to have that frustration and aggravation, because whatever it is that is rooted deep inside of them has to be talked about. I want to do this exercise on this live, ladies and gentlemen. I want you all to close your eyes. I want you to think about a time in your mind, or first and foremost, close your eyes. I want you to imagine yourself in a peaceful place. It can be a park. It can be a beach. It can be in your comfort of your own home. It can be an island, whatever you desire that place to be. And if you have your youth, or you have your teenager right there beside it, have them do this exercise. Have them visualize what peace looks like. And what I mean by that is tuning off social media, tuning off the negative thoughts, tuning off things that are not completely important in their space, so they can really tune in from the ground up. And what I mean is, this mind goes on over and over again, ladies and gentlemen. And what I want you to do is close your eyes and picture yourself in a very beautiful and a peaceful place, somewhere where you don't feel anxiety, somewhere where you don't feel depression, somewhere something that doesn't trigger you, something that will give you a whole different perspective. And when I mention this, it will give you something to look forward to. So as you close your eyes, I want you to turn on a certain type of soothing mechanism, something that will get your mind to take the feelings and thoughts out of your mind. And I want you to make that a practice. I want you to make that a practice with your children and your youth to see where they are. When you start to see a different perspective of them and a different energy that's flowing out of them, then you will see, hey, this is something different that I've never tried. This is why it's important to try different things with your children. Someone may like journaling. Someone may like taking walks. Some may like running. Some may like going to the pool because the pool is open now in Palm Beach County and other parts of Florida. Take them to the beach. Take them to the pool. Maybe they want to ride a bike. Maybe they want to use the scooter. Maybe they want to use the other little riding devices they got. But as long as they're getting that time to be positive, because the influence of negative impact will mess and trigger them in places that will take them even further than they are trying to go back. So when you get deep, it's hard for you to come back up because you're so deep in it. But when you begin to pull yourself back out and really start getting yourself back on track, that's when the work begins. It takes a lot of hard work and a hard dedication to move forward in what you're trying to go through. So there's so many things that you see young teenagers do. So these are the conversations, parents and guardians and loved ones in educations, that we have to have those heart-to-heart conversations. Yes, kids can be stubborn and hard-headed and rebellious. Why am I speaking this way? Because there's so many kids out here crying for help, but they don't have a voice to project because their voice has been diminished. And what that means, everybody, is that people have belittled them and talked down to them to keep them from having a voice. But when they do find their voice again, this is going to take a process. This is going to take a step, because you have to understand that little kids and youth are not strong enough. Their self-esteem is low. Their confidence is low because people have kept beating them down. They need to feel love. They need to feel confirmation. They need to feel understanding. They need somebody to listen to them and to understand, because their opinion matter, their voice matter, and their emotions matter. If they're coming home crying all the time, if they're coming home just laying in the bed all the time, if they're coming home and just eating everything in the house and not asking, or they're just sitting in one spot consuming into their own world, they're depressed. Because you ask them a question, they have an attitude. They're dealing with stuff that's not good. They feel some type of way. These are some of the things we have to pay attention to, ladies and gentlemen, because there's so many kids out here in the world that go through these things. Some of them may be stronger with financial issues and strains and may not be able to get the right nourishment and food to be put in the home, so they keep it to themselves, but they're suffering in silence. This is very important to pay attention, everybody, because this is going to be a very powerful and informative, but also too, I want everybody to kind of tap in to give your insight about this. There's no right or wrong answers in this dialogue. This is not Minister Johnson telling you that this is right or wrong. This is for you to get an understanding about what is really going on in our society. While we're consumed with worldly things and work and everything else, our children are out here crying for help and they need somebody to hear them. There's so many kids banging on walls, banging on windows, asking for somebody to show appreciation and gratitude to their needs. Listening, understanding, speaking to them, finding out some of the things that they like and don't like. Children have feelings, children have emotions, children have opinions. In the process, they have to respect the older adults, but they should be able to come to you and talk to you about this thing. And as adults, thank you, Holy Spirit, do not jump to conclusions. Do not start bringing that rising, screaming, yelling type manism, because they get enough of that dealing with what they're dealing with inside, which is themselves. All right. So we're going to continue to have this dialogue on next Thursday. This was very, very informative, but yet I want you all to comment on this because there's a lot of stuff that is about to be revealed on this platform regarding our babies. All right. So I love you all. On time ministry. I love you. So this was very informative. I'm going to upload the video to IG and I'm going to upload the video for YouTube as well as Facebook. So you all have an amazing day. And take note to this. So the exercise again before I end this live is to close your eyes and visualize a place that's peaceful. Okay. A place that'll give you reassurance and perseverance. All right. So I love you all. God bless you. Have an amazing day.